Jordan was more than highlights. Now, think about this. Hidden beneath the dunks and the trophies, a truly complex, at times ruthless psychology was relentlessly at work, shaping everything he did. What truly forged that legend? It's not just talent, really. What we see here is a fascinating look inside an unparalleled mindset, one intricately shaped by immense pressure, by every perceived slight, and by an almost insatiable hunger to completely dominate. That's the real story. Remember that high school cut. That infamous moment from MSLA. Laney High, where he didn't make the varsity team, wasn't just a simple setback. For him, it was a profoundly personal affront that just stayed with him forever. He had built a massive chip. That early failure changed everything. It seemed to cultivate this really deep-seated need for external validation, which then subtly transformed every single game he played into a fierce, almost personal battle against anyone who had ever even slightly doubted him. It fueled his fire. His competitiveness wasn't limited to basketball. Actually, Jordan's almost pathological drive to win stretched way beyond the hardwood, turning golf games, simple card matches, and even just casual board games into intense arenas for his relentless compulsion to triumph. He had to win everything. Money wasn't the point. What we really see is it was always about that raw, pure triumph, an almost visceral, primal need to assert absolute superiority in every single possible context, no matter how low or high the stakes were. He just needed to be on top. Then came the profound loss. The tragic murder of his father, James Jordan, in '93, wasn't just a personal tragedy. It profoundly reshaped his entire psychological landscape and directly coincided with his surprising first retirement from the game. Everything changed for him. That trauma was immense. It's almost as if this immense personal trauma, mixed with the staggering psychological burden of global superstardom, fueled a very real period of profound reevaluation and quite intense self-exploration for him. He had to figure things out. His take-it-personally mantra was wild. It was a deliberate, almost strategic cognitive distortion where Jordan would actually manufacture slights, consciously blowing up trivial comments into pure, potent fuel for truly unprecedented performances. He invented his own motivation. The flu game wasn't just about his body. It was, in fact, a powerful testament to his mental dominance, where he basically overrode a debilitating physical illness with nothing but sheer, uncompromising force of will. Mind over matter completely. He handled pressure uniquely. What we observe is an extraordinary ability to compartmentalize immense pressure. It seemed the larger, the more intense the moment, the incredibly calmer his mind would actually become, allowing him to execute with chilling precision. He thrived in the heat. The clutch gene wasn't born. Think about this. It was actually a carefully developed psychological construct, meticulously honed through countless focused hours of deliberate practice and intense visualization specifically under game-level pressure situations. He built that skill. He pushed his teammates to the edge. But it wasn't out of malice. It stemmed from an almost tyrannical conviction inside him that collective perfection, nothing less, was literally the only acceptable standard for them all. Winning was everything. He challenged everyone publicly. Players like Scott Burrell and Steve Kerr faced his open challenges, creating an intense, sometimes hostile environment explicitly designed to extract their absolute maximum potential, whether they liked it or not. He demanded their best. This leadership had a price. While incredibly effective, this abrasive leadership style very often left deep emotional scars, clearly highlighting the very real psychological cost linked to his relentless, almost brutal pursuit of victory. It wasn't always pretty. The baseball move was fascinating. Actually, his pivot to minor league baseball wasn't just a simple tribute to his father. It was truly a profound psychological experiment, a fresh, renewed test of his competitive will in a totally foreign sporting domain. He needed a new challenge. He wanted to conquer another sport. What we see is him driven, once again, by the sheer challenge of complete mastery and that familiar urge to prove absolutely every single doubter wrong, this time entirely on his own terms. It was all about proving it. His physical struggle in baseball wasn't the main point. Actually, the truly compelling part was the mental struggle of adapting his superior basketball psyche, his entire mental approach, to a fundamentally different, completely new skill set, and that was the real test for him. It was a mind game. Then came the famous facts. His iconic "I'm back" facts upon his return to basketball really underscored not just a simple physical return, but a profound psychological need to completely reclaim his identity as the ultimate competitor. He needed to be MJ again. His second three-peat sealed his place. It was truly cemented by an almost obsessive perfectionism, a relentless inner drive, and an unwavering, absolute belief in his own incredible mental fortitude, pushing him forward always. He was unstoppable. Being Michael Jordan took a heavy toll. What we often overlook is the immense psychological burden of constantly being him, the immense weight of perfection, the intense scrutiny, and the near inability to ever truly turn off that competitive mind. It was exhausting. That drive came with isolation. While his relentless drive did lead to unparalleled success, it also created a deep, profound sense of isolation, a world understood by only a very select few, and a path replicable by absolutely no one else. He walked a lonely road. After basketball, a new challenge emerged. Post-retirement, Jordan clearly grappled with a significant identity crisis. His arena, that intense battleground of his entire psyche, was gone, leaving him to wonder what truly defined him now. He needed a new purpose. His ownership role was telling. We see his ownership of the Charlotte Bobcats, and later the Hornets, as a clear continuation of that deep desire for control and fierce competition, just now in a very different, far more complex capacity. The fire still burned. Jordan's mind is a case study. What we really observe in Michael Jordan's psychology is a powerful example of perfectly channeled aggression, incredibly strategic self-motivation, and an almost brutal, unwavering will to win at all costs. It's a unique mental blueprint. His legacy goes beyond stats. It's a powerful testament to the transformative force of a mind singularly devoted to overcoming every obstacle, both the ones he faced externally and the deeper, more complex ones within himself. It's a mind-over-everything story. He remains an incredible study. Jordan really stands as an enduring study in the extreme limits of human ambition, offering a fascinating psychological blueprint for how one might achieve true greatness, often at immense personal cost. A legend forged by fire,